communities and establish stuff. And they are taking the money and weakening the economic development within that community.
Absolutely. And as many of you all watching this morning, that Nikita Haysbert and her family are the owners of Forum Caters, which is a staple in the city of Baltimore. And it shared with us your exposure in and around business, how it shaped your approach to legacy and ownership. How does it shape your thinking, and why is it important that we continue to pass that along?
Well, I grew up talking business. We talk business at the breakfast table. My family moved to Baltimore to work at Park Sausage, to work for Henry Parks, who was really the only large food manufacturing outfit in really the United States. Mm-hmm. And it was Black owned. So my father is general manager of that business. We talk business all the time. In addition, my father was a professor of business at Morgan State University and Johns Hopkins. So he was teaching business. He was actually practicing business. It completely shaped the way that I view people being in business, because most of the people I knew were either business owners as adults, or they were working for other entrepreneurs who own their businesses.
That's powerful. And so you saw it modeled. You saw it modeled before you. And so that's why it's important for us to raise up that level of thinking and that empowerment in our communities. I want you to just speak to our audience briefly. I wish we had more time. To women in particular who've had no exposure, who've not had that example of ownership, financial empowerment, creating a legacy. What kind of things can they do to even begin to change this paradigm in their lives and create other streams of income, to be able to save, invest, ownership? What somebody who has no clue where to start, what would you say to them, Nikita?
Well, own something. You're the CEO of your own life first. Own a house. Own stocks and bonds. Learn about that. Mm-hmm. Teach your children about budgeting. Teach your children about managing money through an allowance system. Mm-hmm. All of those things contribute. People don't realize it. The reason why so many other ethnic groups and cultures are ahead is because they own their businesses, and that was left as a legacy. So these people were able to get $200,000 right off the bat, mm-hmm. when their parents passed, mm-hmm. and that meant that they didn't have to borrow money for college.
That's right.
Because they had money already in the system, and that's why housing is so important, to own something. Even if you own a house and you rent an apartment for yourself,
sure,
it's important to own something.
Absolutely, I agree. Ownership is the beginning, and in this digital era, as we get ready to move on, there's so many resources that our viewers, that you have access to, that we did not have access to before. You used to have Encyclopedia Man would come by the house and you had the entire set. Everything is at your fingertips. So as Nikita said, learn about investments, learn about home ownership. There's so many first-time home owners programs across the nation, in no matter where you're viewing, that you can learn about owning, investing in rental properties, investment properties, in land and businesses. And then I'll close by saying this: whatever it is your passion, whatever problem that you found that you can solve, you can start in little ways by finding ways to enterprise that and turn your passions into money. I think it's important for the women of God to find ways to create legacy, and that what you shared is so important. And as we create those legacies, we become the examples for the generations to come. So thank you, Nikita Haysbert. You all know, always stay connected to them. If you have something that you need to do, an event, the Forum K educators. You're such a vital part of the community here in Baltimore, and we appreciate you. Thank you for your wisdom, your insight, your history. As always, I appreciate you. Thank you for joining us this morning.
It's my pleasure. Remember,
right.
the Proverbs 31 woman had 4 streams of income.
Absolutely. Proverbs 31, 4 streams of income. So women, get started with at least one and let God multiply from where you are. Thank you so much, Nikita. We'll see you next time.
All righty.